If you're tuning in right now, you happen to be watching the world's truest source for hip hop news, black culture, sports, and of course the best reaction videos on the net. I'm talking about Kofi's Universe. If you haven't already subscribed, it's your chance to hit that button now before I hit this blunt. Budden.
YouTube, salute. There's a video going viral. Whack 100 talking to academics that the game is a better rapper than Jadakiss and he has better classic albums. Joe Budden, he jumped into this debate and he gave his thoughts about the game versus Jadakiss. And we're going to play a clip from the interview on his podcast where he had with his um, host, and they talked about the game and Jadakiss, their albums, their 16 bars, 24 bars, features, impact in hip hop history. So if you're new to my channel, thumbs up the video, hit that sub button, click that bell icon to be notified when I upload new content and go live. I'm gonna play a snippet of this interview of the podcast, excuse me, and I'm gonna give you my perspective of who's really better.
They'd be on the same tier of the list. I'm saying they're on the same tier of the list.
They're not on the same tier list?
Really?
Jadakiss is a top 25 MC no matter who you talk to. Game is a top 50 MC.
And I think that's too low a ranking.
I
think if you got him...
He ain't top 50 to me.
All right, where is he?
Right, like I said, him and Kiss are right there. So
where would you have
Jadakiss? If you got Kiss's top 25,
no. Fuck where you have him at? Where would you have him?
I would have to really sit down and do this list. And we talk about this a lot. It's hard to do these lists.
Yeah. See, I'm talking to somebody that's done this list a million times. It's going to be tough for you to put Game higher than 35 on an all-time list. But most people would have Jadakiss top 25 all time.
He'd be toward the bottom of my top 25.
So I mean, I guess if what I'm saying, then you're right. A 10 slot difference.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe it's not the biggest difference.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe
Game ain't 56.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not that far off.
See, I think 10 slots is enough. Jadakiss,
they're weighted slots too.
Huh?
They're weighted slots too, like the NFL draft or something. Like
I think
there's a lot of people that could be in the 30s. There's not a lot of people that could be in 20s and 10s.
And I think once you itemize the criteria that you're picking the list from, that matters. So if you go into ICE's criteria to say, yo, the albums that you put out over the tenure of your career, Game moves up that list.
Yeah,
sure. I don't like albums as a soul.
Not
soul.
Not if you watch the Jadakiss verses.
When we start talking greatest of all time,
if you watch the Jadakiss verses, you don't think none about the Game.
Yeah, that's the thing with using the album as a higher weight in the discography. I know, but let me finish my thought. When you hold the album in a higher regard than singles or verses, it's not realistic, because if you're doing a show or you're doing a battle, all that album shit don't really matter if I got 20 absolute fucking bangers.
Right. Game came in. Hold up. Game came in, didn't have no crew, so he had to adopt a crew. And then we got solo Game and whatever G Unit shit came. When we are kids, We Gonna Make It ain't a lock song. Fucking niggas done started something ain't a lock song. When he started just popping up on all of these different artists joint, on Benjamin's ain't a lock song. Like, it's classic records that he was able to hop on because of his affiliations that they stand the test of time.
We Gonna Make It as a Kiss song.
Okay, ain't a lock song.
All right, check out the full clip, the full interview, or go to the podcast, Joe Budden TV podcast, y'all. But let's go in. So when you think about the Game, he released his first studio album, 2005, The Documentary. That's a classic album. We're going to give the Game that, right? But his departure, well, when he got booted out of G Unit and Dr. Dre no longer wanted to work with him no more, so he released his second album, Doctor's Advocate. That was a solid album. People slept on that album, but actually was a solid album. Then you had LAX 2008, Jesus Peace 2012, Documentary 2.0, or I mean, decent albums, not like the best. You can say, oh, the Game was doing this and that. No, it was solid albums. But when you think of Jadakiss, like Joe Budden brought up a good point. Jadakiss, he might not have the best albums. Jadakiss' best album to me is Kiss of Death. That came out in 2004. Kiss the Game Goodbye was solid. It was a solid album. It wasn't no classic album, but Jadakiss' best album and classic album to me is Kiss of Death. His third album, The Last Kiss, it's all right. Top 5 Dead or Alive 2015, cool. Ignatius 2020, whatever. But when it comes to his mixtapes, like The Champ Is Here, Part 1, Part 2, oh, those are classics. Those are classics. I mean, especially like back in the day on my mixtapes and all mixtapes, that was like probably mixtape of the year by far. And then think about his other collaborations with the Locks. We Are the Streets, jumping on singles, or putting out verses with, all about the Benjamins, Biggie, Jay-Z, Reservoir Dogs, Maya, R. Kelly. Like, no, think about it. Jadakiss at that time in the 90s, like everybody feared Jadakiss because he would have the best 16 bars, or he will actually annihilate you on the track. Even Corrupt knew Jadakiss was a problem because remember, Corrupt was the problem at one time in hip hop. And Jadakiss came out and like Jadakiss took over that spot. So when you look at the verses, the Locks versus Dipset, Jadakiss didn't just perform songs from his album; he performed songs from the Locks albums, his verses from like Biggie, Jadakiss, Jay-Z songs, his mixtapes. Jadakiss has a plethora of chambers, like gun chambers to keep shooting at you. Game, the most he's gonna perform is things from the documentary. Not to say he can't perform other songs, but if you have to give who got the best 20 songs, mixtapes, singles from your albums, your guest appearances from other people's albums, I'm taking Jadakiss over the Game. That's me. And I see where Joe Butters is coming from, but everybody might say, oh, that's one-sided. But see, Whack 100 was just riding with the Game because he manages him. He ain't gonna say Jadakiss is better than the Game. That's his artist. But let's be realistic right now. So realistically, if you're looking at bar for bar, Jadakiss got that. If you're looking at a classic album, who got a better classic album? Okay, we give it that to Game for the documentary, the first one. If you're looking at a more scope of like had a more impact in hip hop, I'm going with Jadakiss, and I'm going with every time Jadakiss jumped on the track with any artist, usually he had the best verse or he was right there, y'all. Post your comments below. Folks, smash Black Panther, the like button, subscribe to my channel. Click the bell icon to be notified when I upload new content and go live. If you want to support, donate to the channel, I have Patreon. Patreon.com/Kofi Universe. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Streamlabs, everything's in the description. Till next time, salute.